Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. In this week's top stories, after undergoing a series of corrective surgeries at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Chen Tuanzhi from Xiamen, China finally goes home. Tzu Chi Foundation completed its third round of winter relief distributions in Hubei, China. Lastly, Tzu Chi volunteers in Keelung hold their first year-end blessing ceremony at their newly completed Jing Si Hall. On January 22nd, Chen Tuanzhi of Xiamen, China, who was born with a knee deformity known as genu recurvatum, headed home from Taiwan after receiving successful corrective surgeries at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital. Welcoming her home at the airport were Tuanzhi's parents, who cried tears of happiness upon laying eyes on their daughter.
At the airport in Fujian, China, Chen Tuanzhi walked through the arrivals door on crutches to sounds of cheers and applause, welcoming her home after 10 months in Taiwan. Tightly hugging her father, Tuanzhi is happy to see him once more. The same joy could be seen at the airport press conference.
I am very happy that I am home and can see my family once more. Stepping off the plane, I also saw lots of people who cared about me. I am filled with joy right now. I hope in the future I get the opportunity to give back to society.
Next, over 100 Tzu Chi volunteers welcomed Tuanzhi home at the local liaison office. Proudly showing off her new legs that are straight, Tuanzhi abandons her wheelchair and walks the rest of the way without the aid of her crutches.
I am very grateful that I've had so much love growing up and that so many people have showered me with their kindness. I don't feel so cut off from society anymore.
Chen Tuanzhi's smile warms up those around her as she looks forward to a new life.
To help impoverished students in China's Hualien County realize their dreams, Tzu Chi volunteers recently helped 89 needy students there with scholarship support.
A child's life is like a piece of paper on which their every action can influence their future. Under the guidance of Tzu Chi volunteers, this group of students has learned to live a full and meaningful life.
I wrote down 3 goals. The first goal is to be successful, and the second is to create a better future for my loved ones. My grandparents taught me how to be a good person. They have been working really hard by selling tofu, so I have the money to continue my education here. I really miss my grandparents. I hope I have the ability to buy them a good meal because they have done so much for me.
For the past 6 years, Tzu Chi volunteers in Beijing have been bringing love and hope to impoverished students in Hualien, Hubei province. This year, 89 students of the Hualien First Senior High School received Tzu Chi's assistance.
When I finish my education, I will join the volunteers' ranks regardless. I want to spread my love far and wide as a way to repay the volunteers' kindness. My biggest wish is to fulfill my filial duties and to help the less fortunate, just like the Tzu Chi volunteers. I want to share my experience with other rebellious students.
Inspired by the Tzu Chi volunteers' love and care, scholarship recipients promise to pay the love forward and help those in greater need.
Also in China, we joined Tzu Chi volunteers at their 3rd annual winter aid distribution in Hubei's Dawu County.
Although Dawu County in Hubei province is known for its scenery, volunteers are not here as tourists, but on a mission of love to deliver rice to hungry families. It is a mission that both the young and old embrace with vigor.
When doing Tzu Chi, it is important to be young at heart. Although you may be 80, if your heart is 18, you can do anything.
With the full support of the local government, volunteers are in their third year of bringing rice to hungry families here in Hubei, China. Among the volunteers is also a New Shoot Scholarship recipient, here to reciprocate the love.
The masters always told us that we children should live our lives with gratitude and with a heart that is willing to give.
While young Hu Xi came with his mother, hoping to help out where he could.
Since we needed manpower here, he agreed to come.
I'm happy to be here working with the volunteers to help these residents. I feel proud of myself.
While media volunteer Zhang Wenhai was also on hand to record the event for posterity.
These days, it is hard to find an organization that is so down to earth and real. But in Tzu Chi, as long as you are willing, they'll give you real jobs to handle and be responsible for.
This year's winter aid distribution in Hubei was a two-day affair. At 3 separate locations, volunteers brought food supplies to a total of 1,380 families in Dawu County. Later, while visiting care recipients, volunteers also discovered that many still treasure Tzu Chi's gifts from years past. Volunteers encourage the residents to wear the jackets Tzu Chi has given them to stay warm this winter. And as they visit families door to door, along with hope and care, volunteers bring a promise that they will be back next year.
This year, volunteers in Fuding decided to hold distributions of a smaller scale out of concern for the distance most residents have to travel. First, however, we joined Tzu Chi's winter aid distribution over in Yunning's Fuming County. Cooking oil, rice, warm clothing and relief items offered much-needed help for these residents in Yunnan.
You have weathered hands. Your skin also looks yellowish.
These weathered hands actually belong to 12-year-old Zhang Haibing, who lost his parents when young and has been taken in by his grandparents.
Although he doesn't have a father or mother, he is a very thoughtful child. I hope that when he grows up, he will be filial to us. I am happy that you are caring for us farmers.
Free medical checkups were also provided to residents. Serving those in desolate corners of society, Gao Yuwen from Taiwan's Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital is fulfilling her mission as a medical personnel.
Even though it is really cold, I can feel the warmth beaming through their smiles. Through the process of helping others, I also realize how fortunate I am.
This affinity between volunteers and residents founded on love is sure to be an everlasting one.
This is inflamed. You are suffering from gout.
Superintendent of Taiwan's Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Pan Yongqian, is one of the participants of Tzu Chi's winter aid distribution in Fuding. An orthopedic specialist, when not busy helping out with the heavy lifting, Superintendent Pan is checking up on the health of locals.
The condition for many of the villagers here is very similar to that of residents in Taidong's Guanshan. Many seniors here are living in extreme hardship. I came across an octogenarian living on his own, and I am really impressed that he is able to such good care of himself.
Unlike the large-scale distributions in previous years, this year volunteers decided to organize distributions of a smaller scale in each respective village, so residents needn't travel far distances and medical personnel can easily tend to their medical needs.
We have broadened participation to include medical staff this year. When we come across residents who are ill, doctors will jump in and tend to their illness. When they are not busy tending to patients, they are helping out at the distribution.
Having waited 7 years for this opportunity to participate in the winter relief distribution, Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital doctor Ling Yingchao discovered he had a torn retina and had to undergo laser surgery just prior to his departure for China. Now in recovery, Ling was not going to give up the opportunity this time around.
Although China's economy has seen rapid development over the past decade, however, there remain many in remote areas living in hardship and struggling to make ends meet. These distributions really open up our eyes to their suffering and help us realize our own blessings.
Situated in the mountains, Chaoyang village is mostly inhabited by the elderly, as young people have left the village to seek work in cities. 14-year-old Ling Liqing is here to collect aid on behalf of her grandmother.
I want to thank you for helping me. I want to reciprocate. Although I am not able to contribute financially, I will, however, repay this kindness through action.
These forgotten villages in Fuding are filled with extra warmth this winter thanks to the loving kindness of Tzu Chi volunteers and doctors from Taiwan. Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony in Keelung, Taiwan, was recently held at the newly completed Jing Si Hall, where more than 1,000 community residents graced the occasion with their presence. The Keelung Jing Si Hall opened its doors in time for the year-end blessing ceremony. Some 1,000 community residents graced the event with their presence, including Wen Songjin, who donated the land to Tzu Chi some 10 years ago. Now in his 90s, the senior is delighted to see his wish come to fruition.
All the years of hard work finally bore fruit. The entire Tzu Chi family contributed to its success with a joyous heart. It's just as the Master always tells us, we should do what is right.
A new place comes with new beginnings. Dharma masters of Hualien Temple were also invited by volunteers to attend the ceremony. Now with a new place of their own, volunteers no longer have to host the event elsewhere.
I'm glad we finally have a permanent venue and no longer have to attend the event elsewhere.
Owner of a bakery and a regular at such events, Zhou Defeng says Tzu Chi's blessing and wisdom red envelopes have become his family's heirlooms.
These red envelopes are really precious. It is as if the Master gifted them to us personally. We will treasure them and keep them safe. The Master told us this is a family heirloom.
Attending each rehearsal together, Xu Huiru and Cao Chunjing always looks out for one another. Xu Huiru, who suffers from nasopharyngeal cancer, is currently receiving chemotherapy, while Cao Chunjing, a former cancer patient, deeply relates to her friend's struggles.
I was a cancer patient myself, so I can relate to her pain. I understand all that she is going through.
On the day of the year-end blessing ceremony, Cao Chunjing helped Xu Huiru get ready for the event. With a Dharma companion by her side, Xu can better relate to the wisdom contained in the Buddhist scriptures.
We only truly know suffering when we have been through it ourselves.
Celebrating the first event held at the new Jing Si Hall, young volunteers of the Jing Si Books and Cafe seized the opportunity to help out as ushers.
When they're at home, they're with their own family. But when they're helping out at an event like this, they have the opportunity to establish relationships with others.
Over in the kitchen, volunteers hope to pass on their joys and happiness through great tasting food.
I don't mind not being able to participate in the event. It makes me just as happy to offer my assistance in the kitchen.
It's a bit cold today. This instant rice will warm their stomachs.
To add some special effects to the performance, the skills of Northern District volunteer Xu Zhijun were brought in.
To ensure the lightning and thunder effect happens almost simultaneously, we really have to work in sync with the MV team.
Because of the lighting effects, the performance really came alive.
The collaboration and teamwork of volunteers ensured that this first-year blessing ceremony was a huge success. A major danger with imported peanuts is contamination by aflatoxin due to the humid and hot environment of shipping crates. Although before imported peanuts are allowed into Taiwan, they are tested for aflatoxin. As such tests are done at random, it is impossible to say for sure that all peanuts imported to the country are safe. Next, let's take a look at what agriculture authorities in Taiwan recommend. Nothing smells better than freshly roasted peanuts. When comparing imported and locally grown peanuts, the choice is clear. Locally grown peanuts are not only higher in quality, but are simply just fresher. Here in Taiwan, after peanuts are harvested, dried and then shelled, they are put in cold storage. On the other hand, imported peanuts are often shipped right after shelling. During their long sea voyage, these peanuts can easily become affected by aflatoxin. Poorly ventilated shipping containers are a perfect breeding ground for aflatoxin.
Shipping containers have no ventilation and lack proper temperature and humidity controls. With high humidity levels, if there is aflatoxin present, the risk for a major aflatoxin outbreak is very high.
Most of Taiwan's imported peanuts arrive at Keelung port. With processed items made with peanuts at risk from aflatoxin, over the past few years, Taiwan's FDA has been vigorously testing imports for aflatoxin before releasing them from customs.
We will choose a random selection of samples and then send them to our lab for testing. Test results will then tell us whether the foodstuffs are in compliance with our standards or not.
Through random tests, aflatoxin can be kept under control, but unfortunately, many other threats exist in imported peanuts. Japan, for example, tests for discoloring, acid values, free fatty acids, and peroxide values in addition to aflatoxin in imported peanuts. Korea requires tests for the presence of 40 different kinds of pesticides, while Australia's limits on heavy metals are the world's toughest. While we have strict limits on aflatoxin levels in imported peanuts, however, the Ministry of Health doesn't test for pollution that the peanuts might have seen in the fields. As well, not all peanuts are tested, only a few samples chosen at random. Compared to other countries, import controls in Taiwan are actually quite lax, and the frequency of random tests follows how much danger is to be found in a particular imported item. Authorities say they simply don't have the manpower or resources to do more than that. In 2013, we tested 510,000 batches. The next year, it will probably be around 600,000. The government simply does not have the resources or manpower to test everything. Locally grown peanuts are still protected by tariffs in Taiwan, and imports are limited to 5,000 tons. As well, as peanuts from China are considered an agricultural product, they are banned as imports. For decades, this old store has only used top-grade peanuts from Taiwan's Yunlin.
Due to the weather and soil they are grown in, Yunlin peanuts are plump, juicy, and so tasty.
And researchers in Taiwan are currently working to introduce the Taiwanese peanut to the world.
I often tell our farmers, don't be worried that the markets aren't coming to you. One day, we will be able to go to the markets.
To meet rising competition from imports, Taiwan's domestic peanut industry is now looking to develop a peanut variety with a longer lifespan and thereby suited for export. Soon, the world will know what Taiwanese have always known. Taiwanese peanuts are simply world-class. Next, we bring you the story of 9-year-old Lu Hongning and see what inspired her to adopt a vegetarian diet. Going meatless doesn't affect my vitality at all. There are many people who are vegetarians and are still strong and healthy. Vegetarianism isn't necessarily bad.
Since she was little, she hasn't been a big fan of meat. Her nanny would tell me, Hongning doesn't eat her meat. What should I do? I told her she should give Hongning veggies instead. So her nanny always told me that Hongning is very easy to feed. Humans are meant to be vegetarians. I feel at ease about my choice and I know I am doing the right thing. I feel she is more compassionate and more empathetic now. I told her that she can save many animals by adopting a vegetarian diet. And by eating just one vegetarian meal a day, you can save one animal. Killing a chick just to satisfy our craving for a drumstick is very inhumane. What my child cares most about is not inflicting any pain on the animals, as opposed to whether vegetarian dishes are tasty or not. I believe she won't be swayed by others. Instead, she has the power to influence those around her.
My grandma cooks a lot of meat at home, so I thought I should eat vegetarian meals at school.
I feel that meat is too greasy and it's a little unhealthy too. I hope all my classmates can join me in going meatless and that they will serve vegetarian food inside our classroom for eternity. She is easily satisfied. She won't be tempted by appealing dishes. This is what I respect most about her.
我还蛮欣赏她的。听说你有个愿望，你的愿望是什么？
募100个人来吃素。
看大家，哇，他要募100个人来吃素。请问你现在在学校，你从1年级到现在，你募集了几位？
应该有15个吧。愿意大家一起跟我吃素吗？愿意的请举手。
哇，好棒！
I want to save people. I hope we may live in a world free of calamity and disaster. I hope no one will have to lose their lives because of disasters. I hope to save them. With flood victims along the east coast of the Malaysian peninsula only now starting to rebuild, there is news of more havoc along the west coast as days of consecutive rain triggered flooding in Kuching City. Tzu Chi volunteers in the area quickly mobilized to deliver hot food to the victims. We leave you with these images at the end of our show. See you next week.